Oh, there we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our buyer seminar. It looked quick, and I don't know if I think David was wearing shorts. So
What's
business up
that?
top. You're wearing shorts right now?
No, I have jeans on actually. I was turning the fan off because the fan is on behind me, and I actually have my heater on in the house because it's kind of cold outside.
No, it's raining
Here
a
in
little.
Southern California, they say it never gets cold, but it's actually raining outside and it's 56. That's cold.
Yeah, we have it tough here in San Diego.
It's
And
rough.
if you're looking to make San Diego a permanent stay and you want to join in all this fun, you came to the right spot because this is our buyer seminar. Properties are still selling, properties are still buying. If you're watching our market updates, you know that's happening. So let's jump into it. Where to start with home ownership plans. All right. First, you need to look at your current job and the stability of it. I know with this kind of crazy time, everything going on right now, you might not know what's going on tomorrow, the next day. If you feel comfortable in the position you're in, then it could be a great time to purchase. Thing you need to look at is future growth opportunities for pay increase. I know, again, uncertainty. What budget you're looking to spend? Are you saving money on a monthly? Do you contribute to your 401k? Do you have an emergency fund? Vacation yearly goals. What amount do you have for your down payment? Or do you need a gift fund? Do you need home buyer's assistance? What's your ideal monthly mortgage? I would say anything, if you finish this episode and didn't watch any more of this seminar today, the one thing that I would just tell you to make sure you're aware, there's a difference between what you qualify for and what you can comfortably afford.
That's true. And you'll probably notice a redundant message that Vinnie says something all the time is focus on your payment. I was hoping you were going to help me out there, Vinnie, but you left me hanging. So focus on your monthly payment. That's a reoccurring thing. Me and Vinnie are huge on that. You'll hear him say it all the time. And that's about it. Let's roll the next slide.
You want to take it over?
Let's do this. How to finance your home, pick a lender. Well, so if you're not paying all cash, you're going to need a home loan. How do you pick your how do you pick? Holy cow.
You got this? You had a rough night last night.
I wolfed down a bunch of shrimp and grits before this, and I just had a little bit of grit right there. So you got to pick a lender. How are you going to pick a lender? Well, first of all, you can ask for a referral from your agent. They're going to know somebody. Or you can go on Yelp, Zillow, Google, or Redfin. Those are all pretty well-used websites. And guess what? If you look the lender up and they don't exist, that's probably not good. You want to read the reviews of the lender. If the lender has no reviews, that means they're not doing anything. That's kind of bad because you're trusting your loan to somebody that doesn't do business. And you can always check their license number. Experience matters. The higher the number, the newer are to the business. The lower the number, the longer they've been in the business. Now, full disclosure, there's a lot of lenders that have been in the business a long time and still don't know what they're doing. Just like there's a lot of realtors who have been in the business a long ass time and still don't know what they're doing. So, just be really careful. And if it's a newer lender, make sure they work on a good team that has good support. If it's a newer realtor, make sure they have a good support team because you need good support.
Now that you have a lender, what's your next step to secure your new home loan? Okay, so you're going to do an application. Now, we're going to go over what's generically asked for, okay, in an application. So the last 2 years, last year's of rental history, last year's of pay stubs, last year's of W-2s, 2 months of bank statements, 30 of pay stubs, actually 2 years W-2s, 30 years of pay stubs, and 2 months of bank statements.
30 years pay stubs?
I know that'd be fun. Oh gosh, and your credit history. All right, so that's generically what's required. All right, so they want to get an overview picture of who you are. Yet, not everyone falls into this bubble, right? So what happens is if let's say you have your own business or you have other circumstances there's probably other loan programs that can help you out. Now, when you deal with a brick and mortar company, right, like a big bank, a Wells Fargo, or one of those kind of companies, sometimes they're not able to go past these guidelines right there. And dealing with kind of a broker like David, he's able to maybe see if other plans, other opportunities are available for your package, for who you are, right? So the easiest way, the easiest analogy that I use all the time to describe it is David's like your attorney, right? And the underwriter, right? The person that's making the final say,
Not guilty.
yeah, is like a judge, right? And he's trying to build a case of why you should be able to buy a property. Simple and easy. He wants all the facts at his fingertips so he can think of all the different loan programs, grant programs, possibilities that are available for you to buy a property.
And, you know, with looking at that, we have mentioned here, if you're looking at Credit Karma, freecreditreport.com, all these other sites, they're not going to give you the same credit score that we give you as a lender. So keep that in mind. When we do pull your credit, it's a hard pull, which means we look at everything under the sun, which is important because if you want all your options, you want us to evaluate everything, we have to pull your credit. And those sites, they're great for car loans, great for credit cards, not great for mortgages. I think we're going to get a cameo appearance right here. All right, so now that your lender has everything and you've gone over your goals and you've gone over your, and you've gone over your goals with your agent and your lender, now you got to look at it and go, what's most important to you? Well, is it the monthly payment? Is it the location of the house? Is it the appreciation of the home? What's not guaranteed, Vinny?
It's not guaranteed. The value is going to keep going up.
There. So that's another thing Vinny's really good at. The future rental value of your home, is that most important to you? Or what's most important about the loan? Is it the down payment? Don't touch that. Is it the interest rate? Is it the lowest cost to close on the loan? Or is it the lowest long-term borrowing cost? You know, please don't do that. You have to look at what's most important to you when you're getting ready to buy a home, because you want to make sure your goals are aligned with the realtor you're working with and the lender and the financing that comes with the home. Oh, wake up, people.
All right, now.
Who is asleep? You're woken up now because that is a real rabbit right there. See the rabbit?
It's a big rabbit. All right, so why do you do a prequal? This is where you guys exactly. You know, horror stories can happen all over there. But what happens is let's say someone looks at all the criteria but doesn't factor in maybe child support, or doesn't factor in that you're transferring to a new job, or doesn't transfer over to whatever other factors it might be, and they find that out during that. Remember, people buy off emotion. You're gonna fall in love with this property. I'm almost like I can mute you, dude. All right. So people buy off emotions, right? And all right, there you go. I got muted for a second. All right, now people buy off emotions. And so just imagine you fall in love with this property, and then next thing you know, right, that you can't buy it anymore, right? Because something came up, something happened, and now you can't qualify. I mean, that's why you want to get everything lined up, everything ready to go. So when you fall in love with that property, you're ready to buy it.
My cameo guest is gone. So that was an appearance by my daughter. All these things Vinny just mentioned, super important, because otherwise, your loan will drag on forever. Or you'll get a surprise at the end that you did not want. Like, surprise, a week before closing, you need more money. You got to pay off all these credit cards. Or surprise, your loan doesn't even work, and now you're screwed and your EMD is going to get lost. Do the pre-qualification correctly. It'll save you lots of time and frustration later.
Now, we kind of already talked about it. There are many loans out there, many types of loans, right? There's more loans in here, but the biggest loans, FHA, all right, conventional VA loans, and jumbo loans, all right? These are some of the bigger loans out there. The criteria slowly changes. I mean, for one example, VA loans, if you had bought last year, there would be a limit. Now there's no limit. Yet what is backed by the different lenders, there is kind of a limit. So it's kind of a weird, funky thing, but David kind of jumped more into.
So we'll jump into this a little bit. We don't want to go over massive loan programs, but the 10% jumbos are back. If you're watching our market update, you will know that. That is a great product. Everything else is changing. We're slowly coming back to normal things. So down payment assistance back, 3% down back, grant programs, they're back. A lot of different things. We can go into this more in detail when we talk, but there's a lot of loan programs that are now available for you.
And going over the appreciation again. I mean, if you go over the last 5 years, a lot's changed. Even the last couple of months, you've seen the values jump up. Now, is it sustainable? I mean, there's going to be a lot of agents out there that are trying to tell you it's sustainable. The reality is we have a shortage of inventory and we have low interest rates. That's really pushing the market right now. If you look at a lot of the indicators, this is not sustainable. The market's going to go down. It just has to go down. When's it going to go down? Your guess is hard, right? Are you thinking beginning of next month, February timeframe, summer timeframe?
Nope.
I mean, we'll see when that happens, but the market's going to correct itself. It always does. So look at the monthly payments. Look at basically, okay, if I buy today and the market goes down in a week from now, in a month from now, in 6 months from now, can I hold on to this property for the next 10 years?
Which is also why our intro slide in the beginning said, look at your job, look at your income, look at your pay increases, look at your debts, look at your overall situation, and always go back to what?
That monthly payment.
Boom! I actually got saved that time. Thanks, Vinnie. So that's super important because the only thing that's certain is uncertainty. So
take this one over?
Yeah, I'll take this one over. What's the average closing cost for a new home? So you save money for your down payment. You're really excited about that. And then the lender comes back to you and forgets to tell you, oh, there's actually closing costs on the home. Well, there always are. Sorry. So when you're looking at the closing costs, the best formula you can use on average that will always not let you down, 2.25% of the purchase price. So it's pretty simple. You know, if your house is, let's say, $500,000, closing costs probably around 11 grand. Closing costs will vary month to month because of property taxes. September and October, most expensive months to close on a home, which is kind of funny because September is a big month because that's usually our peak buying season. And then closing costs can be negotiated by your realtor if you hire a good one. Sometimes they can't, Vinnie. I mean, competitive markets like this, how often do you see people getting seller credits now in a competitive market like this?
It's very tough. I mean, unless the property's sitting, maybe if it's a under attacked area, right? And if you've watched our market updates, you'll know the attached properties have a little more wiggle room, right, than the detached properties, right? And we are seeing less inventory hit the market, and there's going to be pockets that aren't as drastic in other markets. So talk to your realtor, see which market you're buying in, and that'll kind of give you a better idea of how you can structure your offers. And
you can also have the lender credit you for closing costs. I'm doing that for an FHA buyer right now, and they're buying a home for 450 grand. They're bringing in 3.5%. We credited them back all the closing costs as a lender. So that's all they needed was a 3.5%, and their interest rate's still 2.99%. It's ridiculous. So, you know, keep that in consideration that it's not the end all be all. If you only have the money for the down payment, there is a way to help you with the closing cost.
All right. Now, very important things to think about when buying. How long do you plan to own the property? All right. 5 to 7 years is a generic idea of when real estate happens for a person, right? So every 5 to 7 years, someone's looking to do some kind of real estate, right? So you're going to, and in this climate right now, I would say 10 years. I mean, really look at if you can keep the property for at least 10 years with that payment. So if you're doing a 5-year adjustable or a 3-year adjustable, I don't know if they're doing 3 years, but if you're doing some sort of adjustable right now, my suggestion would be to double check that and get a 30-year fix and keep the
lowest rates in history.
Yeah.
Lowest rates in history, Vinnie, and people are still getting, and I'll tell you, Navy Fed and San Diego County Credit Union push their 5-year arm like no tomorrow, which I don't know why you would do when you have the lowest 30-year fixed rates in history right now.
Yeah, don't get greedy. I mean, it's be safe than sorry. because I don't want you to be watching this video in, let's say 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 6 years from now, and we're talking about how to do a short sale.
Oh, that's terrible.
So think smart, think long term. We we want to be your trusted source for real estate for life. So we want to make sure that you have a great experience, not just today, but 5 years from now. You got to think, right? There's an old stat, right, that every single realtor that you talk to today is going to be out of the business, or 95% will be out of the business in 3 years from now. Right.
Wow,
now that number has gone down to 70% or whatever it is now. But let's say 70%, let's say 75%, somewhere around there, right? Now, do you think if you get the wrong person, now there's great realtors out there, right? But if you get the wrong person, do you think they really care about when that 5 year has to readjust? Probably not. So we want to help you, not just today, but tomorrow and the next day.
Ooh, I got to do this one, Vinny, because I am highly biased about choosing the best realtor. Full disclosure, fully biased. You pick the wrong realtor, you think experience doesn't matter, it's going to be very expensive for you. So just like you check a lender, you got to check your realtor. Check their online reviews. If they don't have any, problem. Check their license number. If they're newer to the business, be very careful. Make sure they work on a good team with good support, because otherwise your former cousin's uncle's nephew that just got his license and wants to sell you a house because the commission could be good for them, they're not going to make the best decision for you. Then look at it. Do they do this full time? Or do they work at Starbucks and they're a realtor and they're also a welder and they're also a brain surgeon? Maybe not all those, but do they do it full time? And then do they actually own a home? Most realtors don't even own their own home, which is kind of sad because they go in and out of the business so quickly, like Vinny was mentioning. And then how many homes do they really sell? Not what their online marketing says, because that's usually 90% lie. How many homes do they really sell? Vinny, could you just break down the stats real quick about the realtor stats and sales? Because that's always...
Yeah, I thought this was crazy when it was brought to my attention. Maybe it was about a month ago.
Can you share a screen there by any chance?
It would take a second to try to find that. Oh, I think it's a PowerPoint.
You can see it on our market updates. It's fine.
Yeah, so I thought the craziest stat, I think it's September of 2019 and September of 2020, right? If your realtor, right, sold one property in that time frame, one property, they'd be in the top 20%. Okay, 20% of all realtors in San Diego County.
Wow.
It's just a crazy stat right there. So, yeah. So do your due diligence, know who you're talking to, and kind of take it from there. Now you have the loan set and great realtor. What's next? Think carefully about these: house size, location, schools, appreciation, price. Talk to your realtor, figure out what's possible, figure out what market you're looking in, and then put together a game plan of how to accomplish this. Then what's next after that? You write the offer. Okay. Everyone thinks purchase price is the biggest thing. So for some people it can be. Yet if one offer is offering 21 days escrow, the other one's offering 60-day escrow, right? You're probably thinking there's going to be some wiggle room on pricing, right? So sometimes people will be willing to take an offer where they can close in 14 days compared to 30 days because they want the money, right? So things like that can change how you structure offer. Fees being split, right? Usually you're getting the seller to pay for a lot of these fees, right? With the home warranty and things like that. But you can change that. Items being conveyed, right? So you have real property and personal property. Now the real property is like the structure of the house. Personal property is like the stove, refrigerator, items like that. Now you're asking for items to convey with the sale of the property, right? So sometimes they don't want the stove, refrigerator. Well, the stove has to stay, but the refrigerator, wash and dry, things like that to convey, right? Because they want to keep those things right there. So those things can be negotiated. And then EMD, earnest money deposit. It's how much skin you have in the game. Generically, it can be 1%. It can be up to 3%. It can be up to 5%. It's an arbitrary number. it's protected by your contingencies that you have in the initial contract, and it's skin in the game. Some people want more skin in the game because they're taking their property off the market. They want to make sure that you have a lot of skin in the game. So understanding these different avenues, understanding what's important for the other side, maybe a rent back, things like that, will help you better structure your offer and possibly save you money on the price of the property.
What happens with the offer? So you submitted it. Well, a couple things can happen. Boom, gets accepted right away. That doesn't happen very often. Or the selling party will come back and counter you. I know a lot of people go through highs and lows when they submit their offers, and it is more difficult than it seems, right, Vinny? When you first write your first offer, people are like, what should I offer? Well, you may get countered anyways, which means the seller will come back and change terms on you, and they usually are doing that for their advantage, but your realtor is working for your advantage. That's why it's important that your realtor has experience and they can actually negotiate. The counter comes back, you can accept it or reject it. Until both parties feel like they're winning, a deal is not going to happen. Like, both people want to feel good about what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge thing that that's out there. I mean, and right now, how the offer is going based off the market you're in, I mean, you can be competing with, a good amount of offers. So
could be 20, could be 30. I mean, you have 20 other people being countered, and they're going to go through and look at, what's the terms, the contingencies, who's doing the loan. Like, that comes into a lot of play too. Like, some lenders have bad reputations, and your loan won't get accepted just because of that.
Yeah. So understanding what's possible is a huge thing. Contract accepted. So once we put together the right offer, I'm saying we, right, because you've decided to work with us at that time. All right. But once you get accepted on the property, we open up escrow. Escrow is a California thing. In some other states, they have also escrow. But escrow is two things, right? Or it's actually, in essence, three things, right? Escrow is an entity. It's also a time frame. And then when you actually close on the property, you're going to have another escrow account if you're paying more than 20%, right, on the purchase, or putting less than 20% down. So it can get confusing when you're talking about escrow. But in this case right here, we're talking about the escrow entity. So the escrow entity is basically oversees the transaction. They oversee the structure of the offer and how everything's submitted, right? So one side, the buying side, is putting a deposit in there. The seller is putting their property into escrow, right, and pushing forward. The lenders will request fees from escrow and title so they can disclose the loan. Realtor is going to help scheduling the home inspection and all the inspections needed to protect you and the investment. The lender orders appraisal to help with confirming value, and then escrow sends you a package to fill out. Off to the races.
A lot of stuff going on right there, Vinny.
Go for it.
So what do you expect while the loan's going on? Well, while the loan's going on, your realtor has a lot of things they're doing as well. They're going to help you with your home inspection. They're going to work with noting repairs, costs, formulated. They're going to be making requests for repairs for you. Requests for repairs can be negotiated. So even though, Vinny, you see a lot of offers come back and they say as is, does that always mean that?
No, it's so funny. I mean, especially you got to think that, and I always find it fun with realtors when they go, okay, I want you to put as is in there. I go, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. You can put as in there. You could basically put 100,000 above asking on the property. Yet when you get into contract, you can get reductions. You can say the house is falling down. You can do whatever kind of section you want on the property. And I think it's so funny when that game is being played. So, but yeah, there's always the ability to investigate a property.
When that's kind of brings up an interesting story, Vinny. When I was getting married to my wife, I showed her a contract. I said, this is as is purchase, and she still keeps trying to alter the product.
I can't speak to that, and maybe she's not trying to alter the product. Maybe she's trying to enhance the product.
She's trying to enhance or negotiate, what came as an as-is package. So other thing, tests for mold, termites, water, plumbing, lots of things going to go on. If your realtor doesn't have experience, you may not do all these things you need to do, and later on you have a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 mistake on your hands.
If you're watching, watching this on our YouTube platform. On YouTube, I've done updates of what a home inspector does, what a loan processor does, and different avenues like that. So watch that and give you a better idea of those different people part of it. But yeah, you're going to do a home inspection. You're going to have someone that's going to do a general inspection of the property and assess it to see if any other inspections need to be done. If they do, then we get that. We get the termite, we get the water, we get the plumber, we get the anything and everything can be inspected. And then what to expect on the loan side.
Ooh, you want me to do this one?
Yeah,
I
go for it.
Quicker, because I think this. So what happens if the lender did your pre-approval correctly, we should have a majority of your documentation. Your file comes to us. We disclose your file, which means we got to get all the fees from title and escrow, and then we disclose you the cost, which goes back to our formula again of the 2.25%. Once we disclose your loan, we input it in the file. It goes to processing. Processing, you'll hear a lot of lenders right now going to loans processing. That means they're reviewing all the data again. Once your loan is fully through processing, which means it's been fine-tuned, it goes to underwriting. The underwriter, like Vinnie said, is more of the judge. They're going to make sure that your loan fits the guidelines, all the rules, all the parameters that you're applying for that certain amount of money in that program. Once your loan goes through underwriting, comes out either approved or not approved. If it comes out approved, well, actually, during the time your loan goes underwriting, your loan should have already had an appraisal done. The appraisal is an opinion of value. They can be very varied. So in this time and age right now with the current market, we see a lot of swings high, low, all over the place. But you got to remember the appraisal is there to help you. And that's going to work in tandem with your loan going to underwriting. So once your appraisal is in at value and your loan is underwritten, could come out perfect, could come out with added conditions, which happens a lot. We request the final conditions from you, and then that's signed off. We issue what's called a closing disclosure, a CD, and it's not the one you play in your car. It's actually a document that is for your protection so the lender cannot bait and switch you. Your CD gets signed. You have a 3-day government waiting period. Loan docs come out after that. You sign the loan docs, and that's it. We fund the loan. If there's anything that was left outstanding during this time frame, it comes down to the end. Which, Vinnie, how many times have you heard a lender say, "Oh, I can't fund the loan. I have funding conditions"?
Seems like every time.
So,
yeah.
Unfortunately, there's so many moving components from title, escrow, the buy side, the seller side, the lender, the notary could have screwed up. There's so many different conditions that come into play for funding, and it all comes down to the end, which is why you need to be very proficient with the process. It's a lot to take in right there.
And now, how did things change? We've kind of talked about a little bit in this already. Low inventory in this market, low rates, understanding the market, understanding where you're buying. That's going to help you out. Know the long term of the property. Don't buy it for a 1-year, 2-year growth potential. Focus on the long term. Focus that you can keep the monthly payments. That's going to be the biggest thing. And we're here to help. If you have any questions, reach out to myself or David. We'd love to be a resource for you.
And check out our updates. They're Mondays and Fridays at 4 o'clock. And we are starting a new thing. We're going to start a weekly fitness challenge. So look for that to come around. It's to help people make the first step to ensuring that they have more steps in life. So our fitness challenge is going to be once a week. We're going to do a reward for those that do it. Probably going to get a lot of people that send their stuff in. So we're going to randomly pick the winner. And then later on, we'll do some more advanced type challenges for different prizes. But it's all about you taking the first step to make yourself better. And me and Vinnie are all about self-improvement, becoming better. And with that being said, don't you have a podcast, Vinnie, that focuses on that too?
Yeah. Follow Road to Growth, Success of an Entrepreneur. You're not going to listen to me the whole time. I'm interviewing business owners out there that have overcome adversity and fighting through that, learning their footing of where they want to be. So take a look to that, listen to that, Road to Growth, Success of an Entrepreneur. We've recently went onto YouTube, but our podcast is out there on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and all these different platforms. Thank you guys for watching us, and we look forward to seeing you very soon.